Welcome back. You're still watching Fut-Afrique. Be sure to interact with us on all social media platforms and answer the trivia question that we asked you this week. For now, though, it's that part of the show where we put the spotlight on women's football. Now, if you're a lover of women's football, especially on the African continent, the 12th of March 2021 is a significant day for us because that's where the change really happened. Dr. Patrice Motsepe was appointed as the president of CAF, and ever since then, he's made it intentional for him to drive change into the women's game on the continent. He's done it yet again, Jess, and I believe that he definitely is the gift that just keeps on giving because he always has good news, and this time it's about licenses.
100%. He's the gift that keeps giving, and I think he's the perfect candidate to have been tasked with that position or being given that position because he's not just investing in men's football but as well as women's football. What he's done for women's football is absolutely phenomenal, and making sure that every part of Africa, gets recognized and gets all the tools, the resources that are necessary in terms of the development of women's football, not just here in South Africa. And for the importance of this program, for the CAF D license being in DR Congo, it just speaks volumes in terms of how invested he is to make sure that even in the villages, even in parts where, there's underdevelopment and so forth, we don't forget about them. So I think it's absolutely important that this is done.
What I love about this is the fact that we normally talk about the fact that the women's game normally has men sitting on the benches, right? This possibly is going to change that narrative because we'll have more females qualifying to be able to sit on the benches.
And this is exactly what we want. We've been limited for a long time, basically because of the qualifications that, we didn't have access to. The pie wasn't big enough for women. But now that it is, like you said, we are going to be watching a full-on CAF game, full stadium with a technical team that is very inclusive of women as well. We'll see a female on the sidelines actually calling the shots, and absolutely I think this is great progress in women's football.
Does this put us at the upper hand, or are we still on the back foot? Because we do know that when it comes to education, women have to prioritize education because football's not necessarily going to pay the bills.
As a choice for women, and I think it's unfortunate, when we're looking at the men's side, men have this job as a profession and they have substantial amount of money coming into their bank accounts every month that you don't need to do anything else. Even if you don't have an educational background, they don't see it as a necessity. However, on the women's side,
it's only now they catch up.
It's only now when they catch up, and I think it's very important that we speak about the education parts, whether there is money or there isn't money, because that money that you still get at month end, as much as it's great, it doesn't give you that longevity for your career when you are finished or when you are done playing football, especially if you don't have the right investment accounts. Is there an education part about financial literacy? There might be a lack of that, and that's why people don't feel the importance of education. It doesn't have to be a coaching license, just any degree, any diploma, because I know in football there's so many job positions that a lot of people can take. You can be a physician, you can be a dietitian, you can be a video analyst. However, you do need that qualification. So perhaps you're not a person who's got the qualities to coach, you're not very vocal. There's always other things that you can still do within the sporting fraternity.
Well, there's a lot that we can say when it comes to football and education, especially when it comes to women's football. But let's talk about the Olympics. Obviously, we can't wait until we get to a point where we don't just have 2 slots for CAF. We know that we have more than 2 slots for CAF. But now the draw has taken place. We know that exactly the 2 slots have gone to Group B and Group C.
Yes.
Let us know as to how those groups are looking. Obviously, when it comes to CAF, we still don't know who's going to be representing the continent.
So we've got our 3 groups, Group A, B, and C. And in Group A, we're looking at France, Colombia, Canada, and New Zealand. And Group B, we're looking at USA, CAF 2, which we're still going to be decided on who's going to be taking that spot, and Germany and Australia.
So glad CAF A is not in that one. Or CAF 1.
CAF 1.
Simply because the world champions, that being USA.
Yes.
Do you understand?
I also saw that as like USA. That's like that's
former
danger.
World champions, I should say.
And Germany being such a strong contender as well. However, Group C is also not a very easy group. We've got Spain, we've got Japan, we've got CAF 1, a decider between South Africa as well as Nigeria, and then we've got Brazil. So I think it's still a tough group. But when it comes to the Banyana and Nigeria, I'm sure we can both agree that it's definitely going to be South Africa that's taking that slot.
It's going to be, well, we obviously know that Coach Desiree Ellis knows the Nigerian team really well. There's rich history around the rivalry between the two sides.
Yes.
Let's just talk about the preliminary squad quickly that she's pulled up for that.
So we see the return of Refilwe Jane, who came back from injury. So I think that midfield is going to definitely be taken care of, because a lot of people had the worry of Ukolo Sabiana being excluded here because of injury. See, these injuries are throwing us back.
Yeah.
We also see the return of Bambanani Chus Mbane, who returns from injury as well. So I think it's very interesting. Wendy is also not part of this prelim squad, but I think we do have a strong team. And looking at our history with Nigeria, the past 4 times we've faced each other, we've won the 3 times. Especially we know with the Buhari Cup when we won. So I think we do have a strong team to really contend with against Nigeria.
Well, there are 4 teams that remain in CAF and all, that are going for that 2 spaces that are available, but not all of them can make it. The big question is who really will be representing the African continent at the Olympics. This conversation also weaves into the FIFA series, as you know that we will be continuing with the conversation, because you look at the Olympics and how these teams have been pitted. It's teams that on a regular will not necessarily go up against each other, but maybe with the FIFA series we can possibly form relations and prepare better when it comes to such big occasions.